Now we are going to see the partition tolerance of Redis database server. Here in AWS, I've created 5 Linux AMI instances running on EC2, and in each of the Linux instance, I have installed Redis server, and these four are the slave nodes, slave servers, and this is the master server. In Redis, we are creating replication by adding a slave of line in the config file. We can see that, and also Redis server behaves in such a way that it will read stale data once the master node is down. Now let's start the Redis server and all the slaves. And the master. Once the Redis server is started, we can check the Redis database and set some value. The master node. When we set some value in the master node, it should be replicated in all the slave nodes. Once we have set, we can check if it is being replicated in all the nodes. It's replicated in the first slave node. Yes, can see that the name key subject is being replicated in all the slave nodes. Now we can just check how the replication is done by seeing the info in each of the node. Here you can see that this particular server, Redis server, is the master node, and it has 4 connected slaves right now. Similarly, if you check the same info in a slave, you can see that the role is slave, and also you can see the link status of the master and how how when was the last IO and sync was done, and all those information. Now let's break, or let's start create a partition in the this particular master slave cluster by giving a command called IP table in one of the slaves, so that its communication with the master node is terminated. And let's see what happens. For creating a partition, we are using a command called the IP tables. Basically, IP table is like a firewall in the Linux system. By giving this command and providing IP, and providing drop, you can drop the communication between the particular server from which we are initiating this command and the server with the IP address given. It has been dropped. To check that the rule has been applied, we can just see the list of nodes in the IP table. And you can see that the drop has been accepted. Now let's go to the redis CLI command line interface to check the partition effect. We are again starting this server. We'll stop the server and start it. Now, if I set any value, alter the value of the subject, and all these in other nodes, if we check, it will be replicated. Whereas in this node, where we have created partition, if we give the same, you will have the stale data that we have set already, cloud scaling. So we have created partition, and in redis, when partition is created, the stale data is read and it allows reading the stale data. Now let's up the communication between the two nodes again. For bringing up the communication, again we have to remove the entry from the IP table. We are giving WD, that is we are deleting the input that you have set in the IP table. Now if you list the IP table, it will be removed. It will have been removed. You can see that there's no drop command, it's been removed. Now let's restart the server and see if the data has been updated. It's syncing with the master node. We are stopping and starting the server again. We can check in the command line interface. And you can see that the node.js, the latest data has been updated once the partition is removed. And the slave node is able to connect with the master node again. Hence, we are able to create a partition and check how the stale data is read. And once we are removing the partition, the sync data is updated and we are able to display it in the slave node.